truth is, if you're this color, right, and you're from Africa, and you're going to America, right, to maybe have a show, do your interviews and all of that, in all your interviews and everything you're doing, make sure to respect Black culture. Make sure to respect Black culture. I am saying this because of Tyla. Tyla is a Grammy winner, Grammy Award winner. And you can imagine that big she is. A very little girl. She's 22 now. 21, 22. South African. But she's literally like me, right? She went on to the breakfast show. And when she was asked about, her identity, she flopped. And it cost her her career right now. She's dropping songs and it's not even going anywhere. You can't come and mess up with people who you come to their country. Like, of course, these people won't call you a whitey. Why would you not just give them credit? I mean, you can just say anything that will make it look like, okay, you're respecting them at least. Other than saying you're colored. They ask you for your identity, you say colored. It's colored an identity. Anyway, watch this video sample back.
Babe, when Tyla said on that interview and Charlamagne asked her that question about how she identifies, and she turned and hit that and looked at him and didn't say nothing else, I knew it was going to be a problem. And to preface this, I really like Tyla. Like, when she came out, her music, liked her music, her vibe, her energy, her fashion sense, the whole 9 yard, right? And when I like an artist, I like to watch their interviews, watch their performances. That's how I like to get to know a new artist and things like that, right? So I was actually waiting for the Breakfast Club interview to drop when she had it. And I remember when it dropped, I watched it. Literally, as soon as it dropped, I watched it on YouTube, right? And when it got to that point of the interview, when he asked her about her identity and she turned and looked at him and didn't say nothing, I literally was like this watching the interview. Because I was like, anything that she does after this interview is not going to hit right. Why? Because she just offended a culture that when they're offended, you're going to feel it, which is the Black culture. When you offend Black people, rub Black people the wrong way, you will feel it. Whether people want to admit it or not, you will feel it. Then to top it all off, we live in a very much so got you culture over here in America. I don't know about anywhere else in the world, but over here in America, we definitely live in a I got you culture. And what I mean by that is if you do something that negatively rubs another group of people or an opposing side, what's going to happen is they're going to wait back, sit back for something horrific or bad or awful to happen to you. And then they're going to point it out, highlight it, and celebrate it. We've seen it with Target. Whenever their stocks go down or something like that, it's highlighted and talked about. We've seen it with Mooney Long. When she said what she said to the Black women and things like that, now that we're not hearing music from her or anything like that, that's being highlighted and laughed at. Those poor kids over in Texas that got hit by that storm, when people found out that some of their parents voted for Donald Trump, they began to laugh and point at them people losing their kids. This is what we're seeing with Tyla. She said something that offended the community over here in the United States. She released the album in the United States. It didn't do well. Those same people that she offended is now standing back, highlighting it, pointing and laughing, saying, ha, ha, ha. You went from being looked at up to highly and, being looked forward to in the music industry to now there's people on a vast scale celebrating the downfall of your project that you put out.
What makes me weak is like Tyla really thought she could come into America, Black America specifically. She didn't know that. She didn't know she was flying straight into Black America. She thought she was flying into America. America. No, babe, it's Black America, straight up. That's what you look like. You look like one of us. Came out here and said, I know Black, I know Black, I know Black, I know Black. Don't associate with me that I'm colored. And we said, stop using that word. We said, please stop using that word. We actually really hate that word here. It has a lot of hateful, nasty context. Stop using it. You're not over there no more. Call yourself racially ambiguous. Call yourself anything else. Call yourself mixed. Stop calling yourself the C word. She said, no, I'm gonna double down. I'm not even Black over there. Oh, okay, cool. And then she handed the Little Mermaid her award to hold and treated Nas X and her like they was fucking housemates. Bitch, of course you... $60? Yeah, I don't even got $60 for you. I didn't even know you was dropping music. I don't care, actually. Because I also, too, feel the way that the most of the other black people feel. You talk down on us. We told you to stop using a very disgusting word. That's a disgusting word in America. Stop using it. You're in America. Stop using the word. And then you're going to hand the Little Mermaid an award. Like, that's our princess. You thinking that you was the princess? I don't know what you thought, but babe, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. Thames? Mwah, mwah, chef's fucking kiss. Thames. Mwah, chef's kiss. I have nothing to say about her. You get what I'm saying? Rihanna, chef's kiss. Mwah, nothing to say. Because they what? They understood that these were the people that were going to take care of them and do right by them before they had gotten to the bigger audiences. That's the difference, babe. You should have realized that. We tried to tell you. I feel like we tried to tell her.
I've seen a lot of comments of this variety, yet no one expounds or goes into details about the ways in which she is using Black American culture. What aspects of Black American culture do you and others feel she is appropriating or using? When people say this, typically they're talking about the way someone talks or their aesthetics. If you've heard Tyla talk, Tyla is South African, and that comes through very clearly in the way she speaks and in how she even sings. It comes through in how she carries herself, her mannerisms. Tyla is very South African. If you're going to use her aesthetics or how she presents to say she is using Black American culture, what is it, the braids? Like, I really want so badly to encourage people to travel, because not only is it an experience that will enrich your lives, but it will also broaden your understanding of the world. A lot of the ways in which we receive and understand the world is through our own personal experiences, because we are the center of our own world. So if you are an American, America is the center of your world. However, America is not the center of the world, and that is the biggest difference. When you travel more, you will understand this. When you get to know other people's cultures and how they present, and even different aesthetics and subcultures in different countries, you will realize that maybe what you ascribe to your own personal culture in this particular case, Black culture, is not exclusive to Black Americans and Black culture. So again, going back to Tyla's aesthetics and the way she presents herself, what is it, the braids? Because again, Tyla is a South African woman, and we constantly see her in cornrows. Go check her Instagram. Baby girl been in cornrows. She's been in cornrows before she became mainstream and crossed over to American culture. Is it the gem in her tooth? Because I was in South Africa last month, and I saw a lot of people with not only gems in their teeth, but gold teeth, to the point that I was like, am I missing something? Do I need to come back? And when I get back home, I need to put a gem in my tooth? Like, I thought it was wavy. I loved it. But if you are only experiencing gems in teeth, gold teeth, grills, if your only understanding of it is American culture, specifically Black American culture, it is easy to look at her and be like, oh, she's using Black culture, she's appropriating Black American culture, when that's not the case. It's just you have no understanding of cultures outside of your own. Is it the artist she's collaborating with? You know, Black American rappers, Gunna and Travis Scott. Well, she also collabs with Thames and Ira Star, who are Afrobeats artists. So now is she using Nigerian culture? Is she using Afrobeats to be a part of Nigerian culture? She also collaborated with Becky G. Is she using a Latina woman to try to appropriate or use Latin culture? What are we talking about here? Is it the water dance, which many Americans would automatically receive as twerking? However, it is actually a dance of South African origin, the Barkhadi dance. When she was on the Kai Cenat show and she was trying to teach him how to do the dance, and then when she gets to that part where you're pouring the water and doing the Barkhadi dance, what she said was, okay, now you twerk, because she understood she was speaking to an American audience, and the way they would understand what she was trying to say is to refer to it as a twerking dance. And while twerking is associated with Black American culture, hip hop culture, dancing culture, it is actually a dance of the African diaspora that originated in Africa. So again, this comment that I'm responding to, it's not new. I've seen a lot of people say she is using Black American culture. No one has expressed how. So how is Tyla using Black American culture? How?
A few months ago, there was a video where a woman was posting the question, why aren't there more Black female pop stars? And people were in the comment section saying that Tyla was going to be the next big thing. And I commented and said, I don't think so. I believe that Tyla kind of fumbled her opportunity due to her not heeding the advice of Americans telling her maybe to refrain from referring to herself as colored. And the South Africans in particular were in that comment section trying to tell me, like, how dare you tell someone how they identify, and colored is a racial category here in South Africa, and you Americans think you know everything, and yada yada yada, all that, right? And I don't go back and forth in comment sections, like, I just don't do it. But I did explain how I understand that over in South Africa, colored is a racial category. However, here in America, it is a very offensive term. It's a very offensive term in reference to Black people. So if she wants to break into the American market, she probably should refrain from using that term. If that's how she identifies when she's over in South Africa, cool. But you want to be in America, baby. You want American stardom. So being in America and wanting American stardom and then using an offensive term with an audience that does not like said term probably isn't the best marketing ploy. That probably is not going to help you sell records, right? Like, I'm explaining all of that and explaining that, look, what y'all got going on in South Africa is what y'all got going on in South Africa. We can't control what y'all are doing over there. However, you all not understanding that when you're in America, you need to respect American culture, and you need to respect American history, and you need to respect how we go about things here, and especially in regards to racial dynamics, is crazy. Like, that's crazy for you to think that you don't have to do any of that, especially again if you want those real American coins. And so to me, it's all very validating now to see that her debut album has not sold well. Like, it's not doing well, because like I said, Americans, we really don't play that shit when it comes to, especially Black Americans, who was her main demographic that she was going to be selling records to. We don't play about that shit. And so now look at you. You might as well go on ahead, figure out how you can become a really big star over in South Africa, because, and maybe the UK, maybe they'll be cool and they won't mind. But here in America, babe, I think the opportunity has sailed. I think the ship has sailed.
I'm missing when Tyla has ever pandered to the Black American market. I have not seen that. I feel like Tyla's just been very South African. But I think because you saw a Black person, and that Black person happens to be doing a press run in the US, and also because she's Black, they're playing her on certain radio stations, which has nothing to do with her, then it's been made to seem like she's pandering to the Black American market.
She's so South African. Do you remember she did What's in Her Bag? And she brought out like a pound of flour for Pat.
Her music is so South African. Like, there's nothing that Tyla has ever done. I have to say that. You know, like, you could say this for maybe, and this is why I like the women of Afrobeats. The women in Afrobeats have never tried to pander to the Black American market. The men definitely have. Burna Boy's accent has changed many times over the years. WizKid's accent has changed many times. Shally Poppy just did an interview recently, and I was like, I don't know what that is. You guys really pander to the American market for some weird reason. But like, Ira Star has always had a very Nigerian accent. Thames has always had a very Nigerian accent. And then obviously we look at Tyla, and she's always been almost like, I feel like she's, sometimes when she talks, she's making sure that South African is heard and true. So, and her music is more, well, it's pop-ish, but more Amapiano. So I don't understand, just because she's Black.
I think it speaks to kind of white supremacy and the way that, like, the white majority in America see Black people.
Right.
And they're seeing Tyla as a Black person, and Black Americans as a Black person, and then the people who are Black Americans as angry at that kind of external thing. Mm-hmm. But Tyla is just existing, and I don't know, I've seen anger at her like identifying as coloured, as if that's a slight against Black Americans.
Yeah.
When it's just the world does exist outside of America.
Yeah.
And she's aware that she's Black, but she's Black mixed.
Yes.
And where she's from, it's called coloured. And it's like, for some reason, it's taken as an offence or like a rejection.
Yeah.
Or like benefiting off of being viewed by certain people as one thing, even though she's not.
Yeah.
But it's like she didn't orchestrate any of this.
No.
And it's like things like how her hair's done, what she's wearing, isn't pandering, because things can exist within multiple cultures.
Do you feel that you guys ruined Tyla's career with that interview?
When you say something outside in this outside world and you come to do an interview, people are going to ask you about it. Right? Now, it's all in how you answer the question. And this is what I tell every label and I tell every artist. We have to ask you the question because it's some shit that you said. We didn't make it up. We didn't bring it up out the air. It wasn't a guess. This is something that you said. So we're asking for clarity or for something you said. If you don't feel comfortable asking or answering, so you have to say, you know what? It was something that I was talking about people in Africa. I'm going to have that conversation when I go back home, or I'm having that conversation when I go to Africa so I can have a conversation and talk to the people that I offended or talk to the people. Then we would be like, okay, I get it. But when you start ducking and dodging, it's like, what do you want to do? You make it awkward. It's like you ask me a question. I don't have to answer that question, right? I can say, look, it's an open case. I can't discuss it right now. What do you say after that, Vlad? You can't say, well, I just tell you. And we've seen that happen a lot of times. It's how you answer it. And the main problem is I think a lot of these labels don't have A&R development and don't have development anymore where they teach people how to do interviews. Because a lot of these people, they're artists thrown into the belly of the beast where they don't know. They don't have anybody saying, well, this is how you answer the question. I remember this might have been 10 years ago. We had Megan Thee Stallion, one of her first interviews, and she was nervous to do the interview, the first Breakfast Club interview. And I don't remember what the situation, there was some type of drama going around. I can't remember what it was. Might have been right when her mom passed. And she was very nervous. And I pulled her to the side and I said, look, if you have a problem ever answering a question, just say, I don't feel like talking about it right now. That's it. That kills the question. You ain't got to say nothing more. You don't got to have diarrhea mouth where you try to explain yourself, because you know what? People are not going to believe you anyway. If you can't answer the question, just say, I can't answer it right now, or I don't want to talk about it right now, or next question.
From what I understand, and he actually told me this, that her label came in with a list of things not to ask.
Every artist does that.
And you guys asked them anyways.
Well, that's
so
not,
explain to me what the difference is between me asking
that's not necessarily
and a
true.
label asking.
Not necessarily true. Every label well, I'm not going to say every label. A lot of labels come in with questions where they don't want us to ask, right?
Right.
And we always say the same thing. If that is the answer, if that's the way you want to go, don't do this interview, right? So we give you an option. It's not a sneak attack.
You never told me that.
It's not a surprise, right?
Have you guys ever told me that? Have you guys said, well, Vlad, if we can't answer that, then you don't have to come?
Tyla is a colored woman in the South African context. In the American context, we would consider her black. It's really not that hard. If you understand the context and you understand that different countries have different racial categorizations. Within the context of South Africa, she's a colored woman. She is not black. But when she comes to America and she's in a different context and there's a different racial categorization, we would consider her black. I can attest to something fairly similar. When I was studying abroad at the University of Johannesburg, by the way, I'm wearing my South African shirt. Shout out to South Africa. And I went to go sign up for some student organizations. They would have racial categories. And the racial categories they had was African, colored, white, Asian, other. There was no just black identification. So for a minute, it took me aback because I'm used to just marking black, African American, that's it. But now I'm in a different context. I have to rethink this. I have to think, okay, within the African context, I'm a black man, I'm African American, I'm of African descent, I'm an African man. And so I marked African. This whole Tyla situation shouldn't be blowing up, starting diaspora wars in this tit for tat battle if people just simply understood within different contexts, different cultures, you're going to have different racial categorizations. In South Africa, she's a colored woman. In America, we would consider her black. In Brazil, she might be part of. Understand that different contexts have different categorizations.
So my thing is, even if Britney Spears was not the inspo for the look, anything would have been better than telling fans to shut the fuck up. Like, anything was better than that. Do you remember back in the day, maybe I'm just old a little bit, but over at Motown, Berry Gordy used to take Diana Ross and the Supremes and all his talent and basically teach them how to be stars, teach them how to get in and out of a limo properly, teach them how to be captured on the red carpet, right? Something like that needs to exist today across the board, but something like that definitely needs to exist for Tyla, because there's a disconnect. There is a disconnect from what she does in her regular market and what she does over here. And I already hear y'all because the stands is coming in the comments. But again, I say to you, a world where two things are true. Number one, you look just like Britney Spears, so how she wasn't the inspo, I don't know. And number two, we don't play about mother. We don't play about Britney Spears over here. And number two is really number one. So, like, telling the people to shut the fuck up, that was stupid. Girl, you look like Britney. They saying you look like Britney because you look like Britney. Hello? 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 Hello?
Miss Tyla Girl thought she was bigger than the program, and her EP flopped. It flopped by a long shot. She sold less than 4K units in the United States. I don't know what she did in South Africa, but it flopped over here. Everybody knows what went wrong with Tyla, okay? I understand that in South Africa, they refer to themselves as colored, but as you enter into a new market, you are trying to, enter into Black American culture, into the Black music industry and market to us. You do kind of have to assimilate in some ways. You do have to learn the culture so that you can be a part of it, so that you can thrive in it. You do have to respect it. And when people told her that language does not work over here, she doubled down. It's like, we get that y'all use that over there, but we're saying, if you want to make it, your music to make it here, you can't, that's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. There's a saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. And I know a lot of South Africans defended her, but at the end of the day, she wants to be bigger than South Africa. She don't want to be limited to just a South African fan base. And at the end of the day, too, she makes music for girls. Her music, no man is saying put on that Tyla. And black women in the United States of America are strict. Okay, we run a tight ship. So if we say this ain't going to cut it, don't use this terminology, and you say that's how I talk, basically, you can't expect us to support you. You can talk like that all you want, but we are allowed to withdraw support. And that's why she flopped, because you wanted to be a part of Black culture, and when I say Black culture, I mean Black American culture, but you didn't want to do as the Romans do. Okay,
she is marketed as Black. I done seen her with Afro puff.
However, I am so tired of this chat. It stresses me so much. The thing about the internet is that it has made the world much smaller. So what's happening is we're all interacting with each other from all parts of the world, and our contexts are clashing. The creator that I've stitched acknowledges Tyla's colored identity, right? She's a colored South African. She has no problem with that. What she takes issue with, and what a lot of Black Americans take issue with, is that it seems like Tyla's being marketed as Black to a Black American audience. She also makes reference specifically to the marketing and branding, like around her hair, with her Afro puffs, with the cornrows. This is where context matters, because on their side, it seems that Tyla's being marketed as Black to Black Americans, right? But from a South African perspective, so a perspective outside of America, is that she's a typical colored girly. The hairstyles that she's doing, just everything about her marketing to us South Africans is very typical of the colored community. Now, before I go any further, I do want to emphasize that we are in completely different parts of the world with different societal norms, right? That's why it's so hard to reach a consensus about this, because Tyla's not only being marketed to Black Americans, like, she's a global sensation right now. So your perception of how she's being marketed you're seeing that through your lens, and then we're seeing it through our lens. That's a typical colored girly. Other people are seeing it through their lens. The main difference between blackness in America and blackness in South Africa is that there's an extra level that you have to get to before you're identified as black in South Africa, right? And that level is belonging to one of our black cultural groups, one of our tribes, and speaking one of our black languages. Like, the way Tyla is styling her hair isn't exclusive to black people in the South African context, because there are colored people that look like me. Not every colored person looks as racially ambiguous as Tyla. In America, it seems that there is a range for blackness, or what qualifies as blackness, where a lot of people can fit under that label, whereas in South Africa, it's very, very strict, okay? Both your parents have to be black. Both your grandparents on both sides have to be black. Your great-grandparents have to be black. You just have to be close to 100% black for us to consider you as black. But more than that, you have to belong to a certain cultural group. So what kind of black are you? Are you Bedi? Are you Tsonga? Are you Sotho? Are you Zulu? All these things, right? We think of Trevor Noah, right? His mom is Xhosa, like me. She's black, and his dad is white. Trevor always makes this joke where he was excited to go to America because there he can finally be seen as black. But in South Africa, we squint more when there's some sort of mix, right? Can't eat that off, like there's something here. So that's how strict we are to give context. But obviously, if you're a colored person that looks like me, how else are you going to style your hair? But more than that, there is a historical context as to why colored people aren't considered black by themselves, but also by the rest of us, right? Because colored people, legally in South Africa, they are grouped in with black people. But socially, there's tension there. You see how in the States, they used to have that one drop rule? In South Africa, it was the exact opposite. In the context of America and its history with slavery, black people weren't the majority in the States. So the privileged class people needed to ensure that they have a booming, bustling workforce that they can exploit so that their group can enjoy their privileges, right? So they did not want to accept anyone or give anyone privileges if they were mixed with any whiteness or anything like that. They were like, no. You are still black. We need you to go do your job. You're still black. Where in South Africa, black people are the majority, like close to 90% of people in South Africa currently today are black. So with our apartheid government, they were like, we can't add to this already huge group because we're having a hard time keeping them in control and fighting them. We're not now going to add mixed race people to the group of black people. We're going to treat them with a bit more privilege so that they are divided and it's easier to control, right? So in South Africa, there's that tension between black people and colored people. Like, it's just historically, black people weren't able to trust colored people to fight for black interests, because then what would happen is the government would sprinkle a little bit of privilege and then colored people would be like, I don't know. Is it that deep? Is it that deep though? And then, yeah, so tension, historical tension. In recent years, more and more colored people have been claiming their black identity, but it's like a slow process, again, due to that friction, due to that tension. But in the new South Africa, colored people are technically placed under the black label. It's just people are uncomfortable. The colored people are uncomfortable for their reasons, but black people are also like, wait. I personally like to think of colored people as their own specific black-ish tribe, like the Xhosas, the Zulus, the Sothos, the Tsongas. Like, they're their own group doing their own thing, but they're not completely removed from blackness. We just, again, it's just tense, okay? And colored people occupy such a unique position in our society because they undeniably have black ancestry, undeniably. Like, there's no doubts about it. It's just the claiming that's the issue. So that is the very, very summarized, I typed something here, but I was like, I'm going to be sitting here speaking for 20 minutes. I'm not going to do that. That's the very summarized version of our history with blackness and why we came to be very strict about blackness in South Africa, right? Now, I actually follow this creator and she doesn't subscribe to the influence of that one drop rule thing. Like, she believes biracial people, it's okay to just call them biracial, and monoracial black people are black people. Like, that's her stance. But again, context matters, because if she were to come to South Africa with her hair texture, South Africans wouldn't automatically assume that she's entirely black. Again, we squint. We'd be like, ikona of what's going on. Now, after the initial squint, we're going to ask you, like, what's your context? Where are you from? If we hear an American accent, we're like, oh, okay, blackness, wider spectrum there. Okay, no further explanation. A lot of black Americans, if they were to be in South Africa, we'd be like, are they colored? We don't know. We should go ask and see what they say. And this is what we want you guys to do with Tyla, like, to listen to South Africans and to listen to colored people when we say, like, no, she's not acting or presenting herself outside of the bounds of being colored. But the reason that this chat is so tricky and tense and we're yelling, please, please, please step out of your context just a little bit, please, please, is because you guys will never truly understand what the colored identity is. No matter how much we try to explain and get you to understand that, like, no, colored people are technically black, but not really black, explain the history, explain their context, explain the language they speak, explain everything, right? Is like, you guys don't know colored, like, you've never grown up with colored people. You don't live in a society where there is a subset group. I don't think you guys will truly be able to get Tyla's identity as a colored person. And I think at this point, we need you guys to be okay with that and just see what she says about what's acceptable or not. See what the colored people are saying. See what the black South Africans are saying, right? Because again, you see the cornrows as a strictly black style. But for us, it's colored people are a subset of black people. But there's tension around that, remember? So we're like, hey, it's okay. What she's doing is okay. You guys are just gonna have to trust us and listen to us, people from Tyla's context, because you can't know and understand everything. And also understand that she's not being strictly marketed to an American audience. Like, she's a global sensation. So you may feel like she's acting or presenting herself as black. We see that she's acting and presenting herself as colored. So yeah, I think we need to move now, because this discourse it's very hard to understand because we don't live in the same world.
Listen, man, to the South Africans, we know that y'all use the term colored to classify people in your country, but that's in your country. You do not come to the United States of America and want to still use that term outside of your country like it's not a derogatory term, like it's not a slur. Colored is a whole slur in the United States of fucking America. Tyla, your PR team did you a disservice, but you also did yourself a disservice, because before you left your fucking country to come to the United States of America, you should have learned about Black American culture. You should have learned about Black American culture specifically, because maybe you and your dumbass PR team would have known that using the word colored in this country is considered a slur. It's rooted in racism, and it's distasteful that you did not take the time out to educate yourself when you're trying to market your fucking music to the Black American audience. Bitch, how dare you? You and your fucking stupid ass PR team, y'all fucking stupid. Next time y'all go to somebody else's country, okay, make sure you learn a little something about their motherfucking culture. Because that pissed me off. And I wasn't even going to talk about this motherfucking topic. That's the crazy shit about it.
I don't have an issue with her being colored. I was talking about this from a PR and marketing level, and I'm just telling you, no black person or white person or anything else in America is going to call that girl colored because of the word's history in America. And when she gets back to South Africa, and if in the UK her PR management team calls her colored, that's fine. But they're just not going to call her that in public out here. It's not happening. It's bad for business. That baby won't make no money. And that's what this is about. And someone in these comments said, I can respect that she's colored, but I don't get why I have to say a word that's a slur in my language. And that makes sense, because you know how in the UK they call the cigarettes the F word? No one, if you called even if you were referring to a cigarette as like the F word out here in America, that's crazy as fuck. It's the same, colored with a U, colored girl magic. I have no issue with it, but her team is trying to make her money. And what they're going to do is market her to the people who look like her and are going to relate to her, and the people who listen to her music, which are colored people, black people, mixed people, whatever you want to call them in whatever country you're in. Because at the end of the day, it's all giving the same shit with different names and remixes on what we got going on, because we're not in the same place. But she's getting marketed to the motherfuckers who are like herself. So they're going to use the names that the people in this country use. Now, when we back in her country, colored girl magic, colored with a U. When she's in this country, she's on the cover of Essence. And she's trying to make money. We on here having discourse. We on here going back and forth. She ain't even really talked about this shit. Why? Because she trying to stuff her pockets. She want everybody money. She want the black Americans money. She want the colored people money. I know that's right. Colored and black money.
So y'all know I like to food sec. Y'all know I'm an honorary South African. So I'm going to just give my piece on.
So y'all just had to start beef with Africa, huh? Y'all just had to start beef with Africa. So if you guys didn't know, the girl that made this song, make me sweat, make me hotter, make me lose my breath, make me water. You know that. You know how that go. People were trying to cancel her or criticize her because she called herself a colored South African. In South Africa, that terminology is used to identify people who are mixed. Well, people in America who know she's from Africa still decided to put their 2 cents and stated that what she's saying is highly offensive and that she's being distasteful to her black side, stating that how could she say this and consider herself a black woman? Now, South Africans have come and started calling out us for calling her out. Well, not us, because I'm not a part of this. Y'all did that. But for calling her out about what she said, stating that they've always said that stop implementing American issues or terminologies onto Africa terminology. And I ain't gonna lie, I kind of agree, because y'all try to cancel somebody off of a disconnect. Like, even on the post of the neighborhood talk, I'm seeing y'all girls argue about how it doesn't matter if it's used for something else in Africa. Here it means that, and it should not be said at all. Bro, y'all can't tell another country folks what they can and can't say or do, bro. I'm just keeping it a bean. Like, y'all doing too much, bro. Y'all trying to, then y'all questioning her heritage and where she from and all that. And bro, y'all doing too much, bro. This is why there's always gonna be issues, bro. Like, why can't we all just get along? Social media needs a reset for how sensitive a lot of you guys are and how quick you are to try to cancel somebody or try to call somebody out for this situation. You got people in Africa saying that all we do is talk about race, bro. Like, I gotta see them comment. You got people saying that all we do is talk about race, and that is coming off offensive to people. What do you guys think about this whole situation? To me, bro, it's a situation that should have never happened. I love my African women, brothers, sisters, and I love my American women, brothers, sisters. We all just need to get along.
Tyla's Breakfast Club interview told me everything that I needed to know about her and her team and what her goals were. In South Africa, colored is a racial class, and it's a step above being black for them. Tyla does not want to be called black because to her, it would be a downgrade. Now, she came into the American market thinking that that was going to fly. It didn't. As we can see with 3.7 thousand sales in her first week of her album dropping that nobody heard of, right? Now, I think the biggest thing that she should learn from this is that she would have been better off if she just called herself mixed. that would have been a lot more well received than her trying to deny being black. And honestly, we're good. We got Chloe, we got Coco, we got Holly, we got Jasmine Sullivan. I mean, I could just say in front, we're good. We got Thames. We're good. We don't need anything that Tyla's serving. And yeah, that's just my opinion. I don't got her on a single playlist. Hopefully she's learned her lesson. Maybe she should go talk to Daniel Caesar.
21-year-old South African artist Tyla has made it very clear that she doesn't identify as black and she prefers to identify as colored because of her mixed race. And this is causing a discourse. And you can only guess who's arguing with her the most, who's upset the most, and the most angry about her saying she's a colored person. Mind you, she's from South Africa. Being a colored person is basically saying you are mixed biracial of white and black descent or Asian descent, I think. And y'all will fight that. Y'all will be angry, but it's the truth. Black American people want to consider everybody black with a drop of black in them. Everybody not black. And y'all get mad at me. And my point is constantly being proven that being biracial and being black is two different things. And when I tell y'all biracial people can't represent black people, y'all get upset. That's not true. You can't tell somebody how black they are. Because these biracial mixed race women or multiracial women are coming out and saying, I don't feel black. I don't walk around as black. I don't identify with black culture, maybe. Whatever they tell you. And y'all will still try to force them to be black. Do you know how dumb you sound to try to force somebody to be black if they're not black? Y'all need to unpack that. Unpack it. Unpack it. I love the fact that she told y'all what she is and she's standing on it. I love that for her. Okay? Because at this point, we can identify her exactly as she is. She don't have to take up black women's spaces. She don't have to be the first black woman who did this. The first black, because she's not black. Shout out to Tyla. Your music good, girl.
So that was how she went and, lost her opportunity. Just the same way it happened to Burna last week or 2 weeks ago, right? In America. I keep saying this. If black people cannot respect black culture in America, it is natural that you will flop. That will be the beginning of your fall. You cannot give them the respect. Or you see them as lazy people. Right? That was what you're told about them. Oh, they're lazy people, they are this, they are that. There's so many things. You come with that mentality to America. And for your music or for your career in entertainment to become so big, you must conquer America. And who are you going to conquer first? As someone who is not even white. It's the black people. The black people are the ones who are going to push you up there. And what she did was she went there and then she started misbehaving. She started replying as if she's better than the people there. She would have ordinarily said, I'm missed. That would be fine. Why would you come and say you're colored? You might not understand it, right? Because now, if I'm looking at it from my own perspective, I would be like, okay, maybe Tyla never understood that, there's a thing about colored and black in America. But the thing is, she would have learned it. You're going to another country. In fact, the biggest country, the world superpower in the world. You're supposed to learn a lot of things. You're supposed to know what to answer when you're being asked. You're supposed to know, who am I going to provoke by the kind of words I'm going to use on interviews? You're supposed to find out those things. Okay, who are the people that are going to back me up in that place? You're supposed to find out those things. But you just went in there and then you now looked down on them. And to be honest, black Americans were rooting for Tyla. Oh my God. They were rooting for Tyla. In my own opinion, I would say Ira Star is better than Tyla for me. I won't say, because I'm Nigerian or anything. I like Ira, right? I'll say Ira is better. But I think when it comes to the audience in America, especially black people, they relate more with Tyla. And so they went all in for Tyla. They saw Tyla as theirs, right? And according to, what I'm even hearing right now, Tyla has multiple, identities. She has Indian, so many things like native. You can even imagine. Added to her South African whatever, and that's even a lot. But just that line that she just said she's colored, it spoiled everything for her. Now those people who loved her so much became very, very disappointed. They felt so bad. Oh, this is somebody else again we love so much, and she has come again to treat us the way every other one of them that have been coming from that continent treat us. And so they cancelled her. I'm telling you, these people cancelled Tyla, and Tyla's career right now is shaking inside the river. They said she keeps releasing music. We'll no longer hear them again. And she couldn't even come out to even do a single apology, which is pride. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a way you even say it. They'll be like, okay, she's a kid. Obviously, she doesn't even really understand. But no way. She just took it on herself. I am Thailand, so what the fuck? And all of that. Of course, she's cancelled, and she's cancelled for real. So now this one is a message to any African going there, right? Maybe you're Caribbean, you're Jamaican, you're going there for interview. If these people have accepted you, please always give them their credit, especially if you always use their words, right? Their slangs and all of that. Give them credit. Identify with them. They're good people. They're just like you. I keep saying it. Why don't you want to identify? See, I identify with Black Americans more than my Nigerian self. I won't lie. I'm not even a singer. I'm not anything. But I don't know. Someone of you that has a career in singing. That's crazy. Honestly, she lost it. This is even heartbreaking. But the thing is, they will keep learning that way. She did it. Burna did it too. Right? He just did his now. Cancelled. And now, who will be the next person? I just pray it doesn't happen anymore. I pray with just these two people, the rest will learn. You have to learn. And I wonder how you're even going to appeal to Black Americans again, because now they'll have trust issues with you when it comes to people from this continent. They'll be like, those people will never respect us. Those people will never respect our culture. And that is the truth. You all keep spoiling it for people. You keep spoiling it and spoiling it for people. That's so bad.